Hello and welcome to Wisdom Trek. This is Guthrie Chamberlain and I am your guide to wisdom and creating a living legacy. Thank you for joining us for our 7-day-a-week, 7 Minutes of Wisdom podcast. This is day 96 of our trek. Yesterday we finished the 4 habits that form habits. On our trek today and tomorrow, we will explore the 4 zones, or as we will refer to them as trails, where we can choose to spend most of our time. When we finish this 2-day hike, we want to have a clearly marked map on how we can navigate towards and spend most of our time on our personal trail of genius. We are recording our podcast from the studios at the Big House in Marietta, Ohio. We continue to have full days of client work mixed with some planning for the changes in our business that we look forward to for next year. Today, Paula and I were interviewed for another podcast called Together 24/7, which is hosted and produced by Barry and Catherine Cohen. Their podcast focuses on couples that live and work together. It will not be aired till either mid to late October, so I'll let you know when the interview is available. I'm also scheduled to be on 3 additional interviews on other podcasts during this next week. It's enjoyable, not only to gain some exposure, but to share our stories in these different shows. It is now time to break camp for today and set out to explore the 2 of the 4 trails where we will spend our time hiking each day. Our trek today and tomorrow will help you to move toward the trails that will best utilize your God-given talents. We are all unique and special and have a place in the various areas of life that we are best suited for. As King David wrote in Psalms 139:14, "Thank you for making me so wonderfully complex. Your workmanship is marvelous. How well I know it." The trails that we are going to explore are mapped out in a book called The Big Leap, written by Gay Hendricks. In this book, Gay plots out the zones or trails that will help us to conquer the fear and take life to the next level. This is possible, but only if you are willing to make the changes needed. I realize that there are circumstances and situations in our lives that we have little control over, which may limit how high we can hike in this life. But more often than not, our limitations are the ones that we have placed on ourselves. Those choices become weights that we have strapped to our own feet. We all have limiting circumstances that grow out of poor choices or a wrong attitude, but we also have the ability to unstrap those weights and then to rise above those limitations. Think about this analogy. In the early days of steam-powered trains, respected scientists urged the engineers to limit the speed to 30 miles per hour because they believed that the human body would explode at speeds faster than that. Finally, some brave people risked going beyond the limiting belief, and they found that they did not explode. Now, we don't know as humans how fast we can literally go, but the crew of the NASA Apollo 10 moon mission reached a top speed of 24,791 miles per hour relative to the Earth as they rocketed back to our planet on May 26, 1969. And someday, we will reach speeds that are much greater. Are you limiting your potential of what you can become? Do you have negative and fearful attitude that restricts your ability to live a rich and satisfying life that Jesus spoke of in John 10:10? Think about it this way. As we pass by a tiny acorn on our trail, we realize that under the right conditions, this tiny acorn will grow to a mighty oak tree, similar to the one that it fell from, which can live for hundreds of years and withstand the fiercest of storms. Now, if that's the case, don't you think that God will provide you with what is necessary to reach your full potential, since you are made in His image? You can reach your full potential, but it is tied to the choices that you make and your commitments to those choices. You attain your worth and dignity by the multiple decisions that you make each day. The hard decisions require courage, but most of us are content enough with our lives that we will never reach our full potential. How can we break through this? There are 4 trails of life where we can choose to spend every moment of each day. And those trails are: number 1, the trail of incompetence; 2, the trail of competence; 3, the trail of excellence; and 4, the trail of genius. The 4th trail is hidden to most of us because it is concealed by the upper limits of the other trails. It can only be reached if we push through the other trails, but for many, we are too fearful or lack ambition to hike on the trail of genius. Most of us are satisfied to hike on the trails that are not challenging, and therefore we are really not engaged. Keep in mind, though, that one person's trail of incompetence or competence may be another person's trail of excellence or genius. So be careful not to judge another person by the trail that you are on. We will explore the first 2 trails today and the final 2 tomorrow. So trail number 1, incompetence. The trail of incompetence are those activities or tasks that you're just really not very good at. It may be that they're not very challenging for you, or you just don't care enough to be fully engaged. It may be that it's something that your personality or skill set is just really not a good match for. You could probably do the task, but it's not your strength. It is better to leave these tasks to somebody else with that particular giftedness. As an example for me, while I like to have the physical and electronic filing system structured and detailed so that it's easy and convenient to find the information, I would not be the best person to set it up and to maintain such a system. So this would be a trail of incompetence for me. Paula, on the other hand, is very good on this trail, so it would be a different trail for her. Trail number 2, competence. The trail of competence is a comfortable trail for you. You're able to complete the activities or tasks about as well as anyone else. Since this trail is no longer challenging for you, it may not be a trail that you choose to hike because you have no real desire to do this type of task on a long-term basis. Some of you may choose to remain on this trail because you don't want to be challenged and you are okay with mediocrity in your life. This trail really does not utilize your God-given talents to their fullest. As a personal example on this trail of competence, while I can easily maintain a bookkeeping system and do a good job at it, I do not have the insistence or desire to make sure that everything is coded exactly the same way every single time. Once again, Paula, on the other hand, is probably the most detailed bookkeeper that I've ever known. Every penny must be accounted for properly. So for Paula, this task would be a different trail. These examples are one of the many reasons why Paula and I work and live together 24/7 and enjoy it. We both recognize and accept our individual trail strengths. So today we've explored the trails of incompetence and competence. So come along with us on our hike tomorrow for another day of Wisdom Trek, creating a legacy. And we will explore the trail of excellence and then focus on how to reach the trail of genius. Well, that will finish our podcast for today. If you've missed any of the previous podcasts, please check out Wisdom Trek on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spreaker, YouTube, or at wisdom-trek.com. If you enjoy our daily doses of wisdom, these little nuggets we consume each day, I encourage you to take the time to invest in yourself in these 3 ways. Invest with your time in improving Wisdom Trek by leaving your name, email address, and a comment on our website so that we can provide you with the wisdom and insights that best fit your needs. Number 2, invest in yourself by listening to your 7 minutes of wisdom through the Wisdom Trek podcast each day. And the best way to do this is to subscribe at iTunes or Stitcher and have it downloaded to you automatically. And third, invest in the lives of others by sharing with your family and friends, in person or online, to journey with us on our Wisdom Trek. And if you haven't done so already, please leave us a rating at iTunes or Stitcher so that we'll gain more exposure for others to join us on our Wisdom Trek. The journal for this podcast can be found at wisdom-trek.com, where we also have pictures, tweetable quotes, wisdom nuggets, and free resources. Thank you for allowing me to be your guide, mentor, but most importantly, your friend, as I serve you through the Wisdom Trek podcast and journal each day. As we take this trek together, let us always live abundantly or fully, love unconditionally, listen intentionally, learn continuously, lend to others generously, lead with integrity, and leave a living legacy each day. This is Guthrie Chamberlain reminding you to keep moving forward, enjoy your journey, and create a great day every day. See you tomorrow.